What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chiefin with Dale. I'm your host, Dale Fowler, along with my partner, Lonnie Harris. Bro, how you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. How your Memorial Day weekend so far, bro?
Good. Got to spend some time with the fam. Went out to Kansas. Spent some good time with the fam. Just kicking it. Got to see some people that I ain't seen in a long time. Really show some love to the family. There's a lot of love out there. Celebrating the ones that we lost. So, uh,
Man,
yeah, just enjoying the barbecue, enjoying the food. Just got back. How'd you spend yours with the family?
bro, it's cool, bro. We just been chilling all day, bro. We watched that Super Mario movie this morning, and we just been chilling all day for real, for real. Being out here in New Mexico, not a lot of us out here, so we just make the best of it. But I wish I was back home. I definitely miss that cooking from moms and pops. But you already know. But we got a lot to talk about today. We're gonna start it off talking about some Deandre Hopkins talk. Of course, he was released a couple days ago from the Arizona Cardinals. Then we're also gonna dive into Randy Reed saying that the Chiefs more than likely will not be having a fullback this year. He liked what Noah Gray is doing, so we had discussed more of that. And then also we're gonna dive into which position group we feel we need to add some more depth to, which what we're not comfortable with. Do we not have as much confidence? Just really get our thoughts about that. And then also Skyy Moore, is he going to be the wide receiver of the future, the number one wide receiver that we hoping when we draft him in the second round? So we're definitely going to dive into that. But before we start, make sure you check out my wife book Deceit. It's on all platforms: Kindle Fire, Amazon, Apple Books, pretty much everywhere. Barnes and Noble. She's gonna have the part two of it coming out this summer as well too. So make sure you check it out. A good urban novel that you guys can have a good read from. Not that big as well too. So I mean, if you're not that much of a reader, it's spicy. It's spicy. It's spicy. So
Spicy.
you'll get to see what's up. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be able to see what's up. But man, let's go ahead and dive into this Kansas City Chiefs sports talk. So Lonnie, like I said, DeAndre Hopkins, he was recently just released from the Arizona Cardinals um a couple days ago. Wasn't able to find any trade partners. They said the Bills and the Chiefs were among those in substantial talks of getting them and acquiring the star wide receiver. However, they weren't able to just break through and get that deal done. And among the top landing spots for D Hop is the Bills, Chiefs, and then also the Detroit Lions. So Lonnie, what are your thoughts? And do you feel like the Chiefs really have a great chance of picking up DeAndre Hopkins and adding him to the Chiefs roster this upcoming season?
So I could see D Hop playing for the Buffalo Bills, just being that they don't have that kind of that third down guy, they don't have that Juju Smith-Schuster guy, that stir the drink guy. As I like to say, that one that gets the dirty yardage, right, the in between the sticks guy. They do have the ones that stretch the field, Gabriel Davis and Stephon Diggs. So I could see him being a good addition there. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
say that I wouldn't be able to see him in a Chiefs uniform, right? Because I can see this type of
Right.
explosive receiver being in the Chiefs uniform, being that we just lost Juju Smith-Schuster. However, the Chiefs wide receiver room is loaded. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's like a low key thing. I don't know if it's only like a thing, but we went through just a couple names: Justin
Yeah.
Ross, Kadarius Toney, Rasheed Rice,
Yeah.
Skyy Moore. We went through just a couple names of wide receivers that can be like explosive. Justin Watson is coming
Mhm.
back. He was explosive through the season. So when you talk about that Chiefs wide receiver room, it's some real explosive guys there. D Hop would also have to come in and understand he's not going to be a number one, which I know he would understand. He's anybody that comes in is going to play second fiddle to Travis Kelsey. That's just how it's going to go. Just he's the top receiver on the team. He's a tight end, but he's the ultimate mismatch. So
Yeah.
you of course you would be playing second fiddle to Travis Kelsey, but I think anybody that comes in doesn't have a problem with that. My thing is with him, will he be willing to take that Juju Smith Schuster role? So we like to mix and match, right, with Andy Reid. So he wants to. You might not play the whole the whole drive, right? You might just come in on third down critical situations where you need to where we need to pick up some extra yards or get it in a short yardage situation. Andy's likes to throw the ball. You just want to take advantage of a corner of a matchup. So
Mhm.
I want to see what D Hop would be willing to play in those positions, right? Would he be willing to make those greedy plays over the middle, inside, underneath type plays? So that I really would want to see that, but I can see him being on the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills, either one. I know it's limited cap space there for both teams, but I
Oh,
could
looks
see
like
him.
we lost Lonnie. Give it one moment. You back?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Finish your thought, bro.
yeah. I said I can see. Yeah, either one, the Chiefs or Buffalo. I can see it being either one. I know it's limited cap space there, but I can definitely see it being either one of those teams for sure.
Okay. I mean, really, um, I was kind of on the team of bringing DeAndre Hopkins in, but now to the point, it's like I don't really want to stall what we have here, what we're trying to grow within the system now. I mean, bringing in Rashee Rice in the draft, and then also having Kadarius Tony and then Skyy Moore as well too. I don't want to limit those guys' role of really becoming what they can be in this system. Bringing in DeAndre Hopkins, that would be a plus for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not saying I would be mad if that happened. However, what's the point now with us having 2 million in cap space? The Bills got a little bit more than us. They don't have as much as well too, but at the same time, we have something that we can work with. Like you said, we have Travis Kelsey. Are you willing to come in and be second to what he's been for the Kansas City Chiefs? I mean, he will be the legit probably number one receiver on the team, especially with Kadarius Tony out there as well too. I think they'll be a one, a 2 man combo where you can have that on the outskirts, right, on the outside with Travis Kelsey working the middle and doing what he does for the Kansas City Chiefs already. But at the same time, do you want to stop the growth of Rashee Rice, who many think by the end of the season he could really step up and be substantial in this Chiefs run? I mean, Skyy Moore at the same time he been working with Mahomes all summer as well, going out to Texas, working out to him, and then Andy Reid was impressed by his skill in OTAs. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the show. But at the same time, I don't want to take away from the guys that we have already. And really, when it just started the off season, I was like, man, let's go get D Hop. Let's go get him. Let's go get him. As time goes by, when you start making those moves in the draft, it's like, really, it is what it is at this point now. Seeing what the Chiefs were able to do last year with the weapons that they have after giving away Tyreek Hill and then bringing in Juju Smith, who was really like a lower tier of what we had already with Hill, and seeing what Mahomes was able to do and utilize all the weapons that he had in that wide receiver room and that tight end room, it's like, okay, we can do whatever. So it really doesn't matter for us as a team. So honestly, I think really the landing spot that D Hop might go, I think he might go to the Lions. They have the cap space. They have the development of the offense that's coming together with Jared Goff leading the way. You got Jameis Williams as well too. That's going to be back this season, healthy as well. So you have weapons in that offense to where okay they be pretty good, and then they have a decent defense as well. And I think how they're being coached over there, I think it's going to come together. They were a game away. All they had to do was really beat the Packers. They would have been in the playoffs. So just knowing that they were a game away from that and being able to go to the playoffs, I think next season with how the NFC is shaping out already, it's I don't try to throw shade at the NFC. It's just we know that all the elite quarterbacks is in the AFC. Everybody came over to the AFC. Even Aaron Rodgers came over as well too. So now that's loaded. In the NFC, they got a couple guys. You got the Dak Prescott. You got Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts specifically. I'm sorry about that for putting him over Dak over him. No disrespect, but he did go to the Super Bowl. But you got those guys as well too. And with it not being as much, all it takes is a run from them to actually be able to go and probably get to a Super Bowl, depending on who they have to go through and what type of schedule that they have, and what wins that they have throughout the season as well too. So I mean, it just all really depends. I could see them actually making a greater push just because they want to strengthen their roster and strengthen that offense as well. So I think it might be a team that we don't expect, and it might end up being the Lions. The Chiefs and the Bills are going to be the front runners already because we know how elite they are and what they bring, and they always willing to bring in talent as well too. That's always going to be what they're trying to do is bring in more weapons for the best quarterbacks in the AFC. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, D Hop the last couple of seasons it hasn't been as great for him as well too. So I don't know how much money he's really expecting. I mean, I know in 2021 he dealt with that injury, and in 2022 he dealt with that suspension. But the numbers, I mean, having 572 in 2021 and 717 in 2022, I mean, can you really say that you're worth 18 million plus a year? Just saying. And then with the Chiefs, honestly, they might just be willing to give out a one year deal with the second 2 year deal. 1 year being for sure you're gonna play that second year could either be a team option or player option. So I mean, depending on what it is, if you're looking for long term years, you're not gonna get it with the Chiefs. With the Bills, it depends. Stephon Diggs, they've been having a riff with him and Josh Allen. It's a possibility there. But with the Chiefs, I think we're all about building from the draft and just really putting into the guys that we're bringing in because we have the guy in Patrick Mahomes that we feel is going to lead the way for the offense anyway. So pretty much anyone that comes in, you're just benefiting off of that and just contributing to what you can contribute to because we have the basis of what we want to do with that offense. So it all depends. Who really knows? But I don't think he's going to end up in Kansas City. I'd be very surprised. And really, I'm saying this because usually when I think a player is going to come to Kansas City, they do opposite. So maybe me saying that he does come for those who really want him to come. But I just don't want you guys to get your hopes up because we'll be very disappointed on the matter if we are banging on this and it doesn't happen. That's why they're banging on what they have what they're seeing in OTAs and what they're going to see in mini camp and training camp coming up. So we'll see how it goes. So anything else you want to say before we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, like you said, we'll just have to see how it goes. See what DeAndre Hopkins really is looking for in that contract. Like you said, we're not in the business of giving these multi-year deals to older players. Brett Veach is just not in that company. We're in New England mode. Draft young and pay cheap. And make good deals. So find good players and good
Hmm.
contracts, and get rookies on cheap deals. So you're just gonna watch it with your very eyes, like he said. He won't be getting anything really
Yeah,
significant from the Chiefs, but be ready to come in. You're gonna have to make some plays if you go to any one of those Super Bowl contending teams. The Lions, they're trying to get into contention. Those
yeah.
teams are in contention, so he's gonna be under a microscope
Oh
if
yeah,
he goes to
for
one of
sure.
those teams.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now let's move. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic. The Chiefs plan on not having a fullback this year, and instead will bring on another tight end. What does that do to the Chiefs' play call in this upcoming season? And how do you feel about not having a traditional fullback in our offense this year?
I like this move. Okay, and I'll tell you why I like it because when last year we had a tight end Matt by the name of Matt Bushman. In the last preseason game, he ended up getting hurt. So, like and he was kind of a thicker build. He reminded me like of Anthony Sherman. He was kind of like that thicker build. And then we had Mike Burton last year, and we used Mike Burton in a lot of different ways, like kind of the same as a tight end. He did come in and kind of run a lot of not a lot of sneaks, but a lot of fullback dives. And they did line him up and split it out, and they would throw him the ball as well. They threw him a lot of screens. So
Hmm.
I feel like having a tight end, you can still have that bigger body, right? You'll have a bigger body on the field, but that gives you the opportunity to flexibility at that fullback position. So somebody that is a bigger body with hands that has ability to get yards after the catch, it gives you a little bit more speed, so a little bit more dynamic at that fullback position, but you still get the same type of build instead of having a fullback which has. I'm not to say that any fullback's hands are sometimey, but sometimey hands and a bigger body that's really built in there, that's really built there to block, right? You don't really
Hmm.
see a lot of Michael Burton's coming into the league where the new generation fullbacks it's just not common. So I feel like going this way towards the tight end and adding the extra tight end is just as good as having another fullback, especially when you know how to use them like Andy Reid. He'll use it as a mismatch piece for sure, right?
Hmm.
He wants to line up his tight end in the backfield as a fullback and make you think he's coming out to block, and or they're about to run a power. Like we know that's not Andy Reid's
No.
game, so it's like we'll see. I feel like he'll use it as an ultimate chess piece. That's what he's going to use it for at the end of the day. Like I said, it's a matchup game with Andy Reid. It's basketball on grass, as people like to say. So
Yeah.
I feel like he'll use it for a matchup piece. But I like that. I like this move. I feel like it's just kind of he's reinventing the game. This is kind of how we reinvent the game. Not to try and do away with the fullback position, because that's no disrespect to our fullbacks. We've had great fullbacks. Anthony Sherman, Michael Burton, like I said, great fullbacks. So that's not to discount them and to say that we want that fullback push position to go extinct. But that's just not to say that it can't be filled with something else other than that traditional body fullback.
I mean, I think we're both going to agree on the same thing, just because we know how the offense is ran in Kansas City. It's no use for them in the office anymore. We just have them on those power situations. And what I saw often this year, what you saw in the Super Bowl as well too, when they had Jared McKinney and Bo Pacheco back there in a split back formation, hand on the ground, and what they're going to do is going to manipulate what's going on, and they're going to either say they're going to show they're running to this one, they end up faking it and giving it to Pacheco when he got that first down and that continued to drive. That was important. So I just think really Andy Reid is to the point now where he'll just rather have another tight end that can fill in on those powers, because they're bigger bodies as well too. However, they're flexible and athletic, and they're also going to be used in the passing game when you can have someone who's familiar with the route tree. You can add more to the offense, and even some trick plays as well too. So it shows what they have going forward. I think he see the value in the position is decreasing, is going down, and it's like we said. It's no offense to the Anthony Shermans, Michael Burtons, all the great ones that were Juice. I never know how to say his name, but for the 49ers,
Yes, it's just
Juice, something like that.
yeah, you
But
check
Usex,
Cal,
yeah,
you check. Yes, I
yeah,
know what you're
Cal.
talking about.
We just gonna
Yeah,
say Cal. But
yeah.
at the same time, I mean, like I said, man, it's just we see that the position is not as important anymore, and those guys is also being used coming out the backfield in the passing game as well too. They make clutch plays, and then they're useful for those short down situations on third and one or fourth and inches, to where you just need that extra push to get the running back pass, or they give a dive where they're low gravity to the ground, so all they got to do is get it underneath everyone and just get that extra yard or extra inch to continue to drive. But I just feel like he doesn't care for the traditional fullback anymore. And it's no offense to that. And you saw the lack, like you said, we did a lot of things with Burton last year. We did some things, but we didn't do a lot. And I think that's why he was like, we might as well just go ahead and have that fourth tight end, because like we said, we talked about it before. You got Travis Kelsey, you got you got Noah Gray. You had Blake Bell. I think we brought him back again, and then you had Jody Fortson as well too. Then you got that guy like Matt Bushman that we talked about, that's a tight end as well, that had some great plays in the
Final preseason
preseason,
game. Yeah,
in the final preseason game. So it's like, oh man, instead of doing that, why not add an extra one of those guys, and those guys can be a part of the special team unit as well too, because like we said, they're still athletes and they can still make plays. So it just makes the most sense just to bring more on to what you can use in those tight end sets where you do go strong, like we did before when you had the four tight end set and you didn't have no wide receivers out there, and it confused the defense because we're a passing team. But it's like, with these guys, more than likely going to run. No, it's really still 50-50. We can do a lot with that, especially with the play calling. So, Reed and Matt Nagy is drawing some things up right now. But it's just simple as that. I'm going to leave it at that. Traditional fullback position in the NFL might be coming to an end. We see the traditional running back is kind of starting to minimize his role in the offense as well too. So I mean, with it being a passing league, it's just like what we saw in the NBA with the shift with the 3-point shot and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and how they
absolutely.
changed the game. And you see guys coming out now, bigs is shooting more as well too. So it just all depends. We'll see how it goes. But Kansas City Chiefs. Not going to be carrying the traditional fullbacks this season. But this what we have. This is all we have for the first half of the show. We're gonna send it over to a quick commercial, and then we'll be right back with some more sports talks and some more Chiefs news. Talk to you soon.
What up, KC? On the heels of yet another Kansas City Super Bowl victory, we have an awesome opportunity for you to broadcast your business to the local Kansas City market. We've created something called Kansas City Sports Company, which is a sports media hub for multiple live shows, all of which cover all the local Kansas City teams. Now, we have 30-second ad spots, 60-second ad spots, we have event sponsorships, studio sponsorships, show sponsorships, and much, much more. This is a great opportunity for you to start early with us and broadcast your business to a very dedicated, very enthusiastic Kansas City audience. Contact me or hit the Contact Us link on our website to learn more about this opportunity.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to this episode of Chiefin and Dale. Now we're going on to our next topic. Lonnie, what position group you have the most worried about this upcoming season? You know, we pretty much done filled most of the holes that we had coming into the draft and then this off season as well too. So what are your thoughts and what position group you feel you're the most worried about this upcoming season and how worried are you about this position group?
The position group I'm most worried about will be the offensive tackle, well, offensive line group, and specifically for the position on the offensive tackle, left
Hmm.
and right tackle. Just being that we've had so much turnover there in these past just 4 or 5 years, from going from Mitchell Schwartz and Eric Fisher to Wiley and Cam Irvin, from Niang to Orlando Brown, to Andrew Wiley and Orlando Brown, now to Donovan Smith, Jawan Taylor, Niang, and Wanye Moore. So, and now we're at a position battle for that left tackle spot. So I feel like that is our biggest. That's the biggest question mark for me. Just
Hmm.
being that we rotated so many bodies into that position these past several years, I want to see if we can have sustained success there. Right, we've
Hmm.
sustained success several times, even changing tackles, even being with Mahomes being mobile and moving around and not being the easiest man to block for. Um, we've still been able to sustain success, which I love there, and that shows that you do have a great coaching staff. But I want to see if we can continue to keep that up and build off of these pieces that we've gotten from Donovan Smith to Jawan Taylor, to Lucas Niang, to Dennis Kennard, to Wanye Morris. And I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
some more tackles in there that we just haven't spoke on. But yes, I want to see if we can find the two solid bookend tackles and at least have them for at least 2 or 3 years. Man, like get Mahomes some consistency there and not have that left tackle spot be a rotating door. That's not a spot that you really want to be a rotating door. When you have an all-time great quarterback, you want to kind of solidify their protection,
Yeah.
so they can like solidify their drops, know where they want to drop, and know what they want to do, and get comfortable. So I just want to see if we can sure that up, and figure out an answer there. Because, like I said, we don't want to have to reconstruct on that left tackle and right tackle position every year. That's a hard position to just make sure that you're going to come and be able to block the Von Millers of the world, the Chris Joneses of the world, the Aaron Donalds of the world, the Max Crosbys of the world, the Chandler Joneses. So there's a lot of players in the AFC West and just in the AFC alone, that you want some bookend tackles and you want to have success at that position, and you need to have immediate success, especially if you're going to have rookies or second year veteran players stepping up. They have to be able to sustain it, and really hold, like I said, really hold up. So I want to see how that offensive line and specifically that tackle spot plays out. We know the interior is solidified with Trey Smith, and Creed Humphrey and Joe Tooney. That there's those pillars are, we already have those pillars set for the inside. Let's see if we can get those tackle spots set.
I definitely understand the worry of that just because the tackle position is usually the most important on the offensive line. The only reason why I'm not worried as much is because I saw what we were able to do with Orlando Brown and Wiley, and I feel like we still can have that same type of approach, especially with bringing in Jawan Taylor at the right tackle position. Donovan Smith, I know he had some trouble last season, but he is a left tackle in the league, and that's the position he does play with. It's not a guy that moved over from right tackle to left left tackle. He is a left tackle. So um, that's why I'm not as worried. But I can definitely understand just because we saw what happened to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl where he got injured, he got banged up, and he dealt with some injuries like that before just because of some lack of responsibility at the left tackle position. So it just really depends on where your worries is on the offensive line. You can't just say the whole offensive line because the interior is set. And I
Yeah.
believe guys like Joe Tooney and then Trey Smith is going to be able to elevate those tackles on the outside as well too, especially on those uh, double team uh, double team stunts that they have. And then when it comes to you know pass blocking, I'm sure they'd be able to hit on their own right there when they need to. But the position group that I'm most worried about this upcoming season, and this is the position group I think you like the most, is the defensive back group. And it's not because they're not good. It's not because of that at all. But it's now that we don't have anyone from the past, like a Charvarius Ward, Juan Thornhill, Tyron Matthew, Rashad Fitton, none of them. You literally got Trent McDuffie, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, Brian Cook, Justin Reed. He's a veteran that came in last season, but he's by himself. Who's going to have to be leading these young guys now? And then you bring in Mike Edwards as well too. Really, all familiar guys. I mean, you got the practice squad players like Chris Lemons of that such and stuff like that. But and like Boodoo and all those guys. But for the people that's going to make the active roster and know who's going to be on there, it's like okay, so you got Trent McDuffie who got injured the first game of the season, then didn't come back until after week 5. And then you had Jalen Watson, who's a 7th rounder. Joshua Williams is a fourth rounder who has some issues within the slot and on the outside sometimes in some games against some of those big wide receivers, such as like a T Higgins and Jamar Chase and them like that. So it's just I just worry, are these guys going to actually from last year come and be more of a more of a group that is more capable of actually defending against those elite wide receivers? Are they going to be disciplined on the outside? Are they going to avoid all those penalties and put the defense in position to where they're going to get yardage off of that? I just want to know if they're going to be able to live up to that in the responsibility, because really these teams are the goal every time people play the Kansas City Chiefs is to outscore the Kansas City Chiefs. And honestly, you're not going to outscore us on the ground. You're going to need to actually pick up points
Not at all.
fast and really try to limit the possessions that the Kansas City Chiefs have. So they're going to really be attacking those outside corners. They're going to be trying to hit you on the inside as well too. They're going to be having quick plays where they're just trying to run, get to the line, and just make it to where the defense is not, you know, where the defense can't set up on time. And those elements of the game start being important when you're trying to get the play call over to those guys as well too. Or they're going to be well and ready for the moment. And the reason why I say that, I know they still have Justin Reed, but Juan Thornhill, even though he wasn't the greatest safety, right? But he been involved in both Super Bowls. So really he was a part, well, he got injured on that Super Bowl run, but he did play in the playoffs and then he got injured. But he was a factor up until that point. He had a decent season. And then he was a part of it when we lost in the Super Bowl as well, too. He was a part of it when we lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship game. And then he was a part of it when we beat the Philadelphia Eagles. He been with us since 2019 when he got drafted. He was able to help Justin Reed to point to where this is what we do in Kansas City. This is what I learned and helped him be able to become the leader that he's able to be with us. And as a veteran, you know it's going to pick up quick for him. But for the young guys, are they going to be able to get it? Honestly, I think they'll be able to. I think they'll be fine. It's just I'm most worried about them because in other spots we have elite talent. Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, a linebacker. Chris Jones, you got Chris Jones, Charles Omenihu, you got George Karlaftis, Noddy. You got veteran guys up front as well too. That's going to be fine. But Chris Jones is the anchor of that off. of that defensive line. And then they say Chris Jones. They did say Frank Clark is trying to get a deal done with Kansas City as well too. That's out there. He really want to come back. So it's like you got those right there. Fine. The defensive back position is the one that became a revolving door, just based off the fact because you have Charvarius Ward, Rashad Fitton. Those guys, they were very handsy and they got a lot of calls. These guys, they're more disciplined. Jalen Watson, he had a solid season. Didn't get penalized as much. McDuffie, he had questionable penalties if we're going to be honest, especially that one on Jamar Chase. It wasn't really nothing. I think it was just the contact of him being around him and then him tripping and it just what they saw off of that. But honestly, it's just because they're young. They're very skilled. And I think Spags is going to make sure they're fine as well too. It's just how many other positions you feel that's really. I mean, wide receivers we're going to be fine just because of Patrick Mahomes. We're not worried about the quarterback position. Not worried about the tight end position. You worried about the offensive line, but you're worried about the tackles. That's
The tackle specifically. But look, and I say this about
yeah.
the corners, right? This we forget LJ Sneed.
Sneed, my bad. I I'm
LJ
talking the
Sneed.
whole time. I'm
LJ
talking the whole
Sneed,
time.
LJ Sneed is there. But look, I
But
feel like
yeah,
he plays a big role, but you still, like you said, you still need those guys to step up, though, right? We still need y'all to play at that elite level that you played in the Super Bowl. This is the only reason that I disagree with
yeah.
you, though. And look, this is the only reason I disagree with you, though. Corner is a position where you need confidence, correct?
Hmm.
You need the utmost confidence. Coming off of a Super Bowl winning season, the one of the worst things you can do, even to a sorry corner, is give them confidence.
Yeah.
Their confidence is on 1,000. So until they're knocked off of that high horse, or until they're humble, real, they have to. And then I mean, they gonna have. It's gonna take a
We can
couple
say
of.
that about the offensive line too.
I feel like they're gonna play at a level that may be unheard of. They may be one of the best secondaries in the league, but that's just for me to say.
But
That's just because just me thinking it's like a corner. Like it's like they're cocky people.
But that was my fault on the Legarius Sneed part. I think I was just worried about the Eagles
I know
part,
you
and
did.
I
Yeah.
was just talking about them.
But it's still, but
I
it's
forgot
still,
about him because
yeah,
he's that elite nickel and dime cornerback that we had. He's definitely great on the blitz. But it's been times where he got beat in coverage as well too. But he made plays, but it's not as much. That's why you're not as mad. But it's just I think more of I'm worried about him not being there next season just because of contract issues.
that makes
Because
sense.
he's playing at an elite level. I don't
Yes,
think the Chiefs will be able to pay for him,
yeah,
and that's no offense to you, Legere Sneed at all. Like that was on me. That was my bad. I didn't really mean to forget you on that one. It ain't nothing about your play. You honestly, you were the best corner on the Chiefs last season, flat out. Not even gonna hesitate that. It's just we're
yeah,
worried about the young guys because now, I feel like they're gonna feel comfortable with. I think the goal in my mind is to have the length on the outside, Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. I think they will want to put Trent McDuffie back in the nickel dime position because that's where he played best at. And then you already have Jerry Sneed in there as well too, who has been dominant ever since he came into the league with the Kansas City Chiefs.
yeah,
So I think that's how they want it to be. And the guy that I'm worried about the most on the outside is Joshua Williams.
yeah,
That's all it is.
yes,
But like, I think we both made valid points on that part. We'll see which one. We'll see how they hold up when the season start. 15 more Sundays away until football is back officially regular season. So, and then we'll be playing on that Thursday. So we honestly got 14 more. So we'll see how that goes. But let's jump on to our next topic because we're gonna definitely talk about this more probably on the next upcoming episode. Just talk about more talks of what we feel on each position group to see how we feel on each part of that. But now moving forward, gotta get into Skyy Moore. Skyy Moore has had a phenomenal offseason so far. He's been showing out in OTAs. He had a great workout with Patrick Mahomes up in Tyler, Texas, working out in his home state. So, Lonnie, what are your thoughts on Skyy Moore this upcoming season, and do you think he'll end up being the Chiefs' best wide receiver?
So I don't think Sky will be the best wide receiver. He has the ability to be at least be a solid number two wide receiver, a number three wide receiver. Of course,
Hmm.
Travis Kelsey, as long as they stays healthy, barring injury, knock on wood.
Man, we
Travis,
let's leave
Travis
Kelsey alone. He a tight end.
Okay, so
He's a
all
tight
right,
end.
so since he wanted to take the tight end stuff and throw it on Travis, and even though we know he gets stood up 95% of the game, he's standing up. Rarely does he have his hand in the ground like a traditional tight end, but that's okay. So he will. I won't say. I still don't think he'll be the best wide receiver. I think that's KT's spot actually to take that crown.
KT,
He's
you better be active.
Kadarius Tony, as long as he's active and he's healthy too, barring injury. But I can definitely see Sky being a number two, that number two guy. But Sky has elite route running ability. This is a guy that was compared to Julian Edelman. They Julian Edelman esque when he came out of college. He has the ability to get open over the middle of the field. Those intermediate routes. He has the ability to become a mismatch nightmare for linebackers and slot safeties and corners. Because he's a small guy. He's able to kind of get to where you aren't. And beat people to the spot. I think he'll be elite just based off of him being Andy Reid's offense for another year, right? We see wide receivers make that usually that elite jump, a la Tyreek Hill. Um, when you're in the Andy Reid offense for that extra year, you find out the spaces and you get real comfortable with Mahomes. Find the spaces where people aren't, right. You find the voids. You figure out where to stop on your landmarks. And you're figuring out how to play the game like an Andy Reid wide receiver. So because you built this maturation with the quarterback, and he's gonna ultimately end up taking another step just because he's playing with elite talent based off the talent that he's playing with. So I think he has the ability to be a good number two wide receiver. I think he does have a chance to really become a very dependable wide receiver for Mahomes on third down. I feel like he trusts him. He definitely we've seen it in the Chargers game when we needed it down at that time. He's willing to give Sky the ball. He's going to give you opportunities.
Hmm.
Sky just has to show him that he can make plays. So I really think he has that ability to be that over the middle type of guy, that third down type of guy, that guy that has the ability, like I said, to come in and get mismatches against your linebacker, beat him over the middle, beat him quick inside, and get the third down. I look for us because the Chiefs are in a lot of short yardage third down situations, so we could always use guys like him and like I said, like D Hop, like Juju Smith-Schuster, guys that are able to get us out of those third and short situations with their elite route running, or whether it be just knowing how to use leverage, knowing how to use your speed, whatever it
Hmm.
is. Just being able to be an overall smart wide receiver. So that's why I feel like Scott will make an elite jump, but I don't see him being a number one. I think he'll just be playing second fiddle to KT just because KT is elite. Man, this is the man that adjusted his gloves and going up to catch a ball. You talking? That's a real ball player. Um, so I think KT is just like one of those guys, one of those Florida's guys that's
This
just has it.
this is gonna be my weird breakdown. The thing about it is, it's gonna probably throw some people off just because he's smaller than what people would think, right? Only reason why I think he'd be that the best wide receiver is because honestly, when Sammy Watkins was here with the Kansas City Chiefs, to be real, he was the best. Like as a wide receiver, he was the best wide receiver. Just route running wise, better hands. It's just he was very injury prone, right? Reek, he was just a different level of talent. You're going to want him on your offense because he elevates the offense in a way to where he can break anything at any time. You want that more than just, okay, yeah, this guy's the best route runner in the game and does all of this, but you're going to have the best player where you can learn, you can teach him all that. You can be fast, you're quick, change of direction, get the ball, you're explosive anytime you get it. That's Kadarius Tony. But he also is a good receiver as well too. He was a receiver in college. He has elite route running skills as well too. It's just Skyy Moore. We didn't saw his workouts. We didn't saw him just show his feet work off and everything like that. And he has great hands as well. I think he will be the best wide receiver as to your traditional because he can definitely create separation with his with cornerbacks in the league. The things that I didn't like last season was I feel like he didn't attack the ball that much. He was trying to save himself, like going across the middle and then Pat is throwing the ball to you instead of you attacking it with your hands, getting it, and then going upfield. What it was he doing is trying to catch with his body, lean towards a first down, and try to get an easy first down like that. He's thinking smart as it to like let me get into a position where I can get the first and go and then fall backwards and save
Mhm.
myself. But sometimes you gotta attack it because you got that linebacker or that defensive back that's eyeing in on that, and they're gonna play it very well. So that if they're exploding off the ball as well too, attacking it, they're either going to get an interception or make a PBU. So it just really depends on that. So what I need more from him is to just be more aggressive, be more cognitive of the situation, knowing that okay, this is right here. I need to make sure if I'm going to drop in the middle, sit right here. Once he throws it towards me, depending how it's coming, I need to make the step up to go after it instead of letting the guy beside me attack as well, either get a deflection or possibly an interception. Let me be more aggressive on that end of going after the ball because he has the mechanics of being one of the best wide receivers on the team, and I think he can do it. He was a second round pick for a reason. He didn't had a
Yeah.
phenomenal. He had he had phenomenal years at his college. He was
Yeah.
great. Like he was great. So I think he really can come into Kansas City and really make an impact that he's probably not expecting in this offense, but you can, bro. We're looking for that wide receiver that can complement Travis Kelsey as well too. We're
Absolutely.
saying Kadarius Tony because
Yeah.
he was a former first round pick and we're able to steal him and we see his athleticism and also his finesse in his game. But Skyy Moore, nobody took that. Nobody took that reek position yet. Nobody did that at all. And that's why they're trying to avoid going after DeAndre Hopkins because the veteran guy, he's gonna know what he's gonna know really what we're trying to get out of the receiver position. He's gonna come in with that knowledge of the game. We're trying to give you guys a chance because we're trying to build you up to be those type of receivers in the league. So that's I really feel he has the skill set there to be the best wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. Simple as that.
And I say this too, right? You have dudes like KT and Travis, right?
Hmm.
So who's gonna get the one on ones if they're getting double?
Rashi Rice.
Sky, you
Sky.
Rasheed Rice or Sky, you're gonna get the one on one. Can you win? Is the question. We know Sky can win. That's
Yep.
not the question, right? Like you said,
Yep.
but Scott, can you attack the ball? Can you go get the ball and then can you get that yak, baby?
And
That's
that's
what we
why
need to see. Like we
and
got to see that. Like, and that's what's so pivotal in Andy Reid's offense. You
look,
got to be a mover and shaker in this offense.
Scott, they talking about Rashi Rice, and they should be talking about you this next upcoming season for real.
Exactly.
And a lot of people think that you got Riddick, someone who hasn't really failed on his Chiefs predictions at all. Everything he predicted about the Chiefs ended up eventually coming true. Patrick Mahomes being the best quarterback in the league, this being the best offense in the league, defense potentially becoming one of the best in the league as well too, especially with the additions that they had, and then they were able to make it work. I mean, Sky, it's your chance because this guy Rashi Rice is getting a lot of hype. He's getting a lot of hype, but I'm hyped for you too, and I think I think Chiefs Kingdom is hyped for him as well because we know the potential that we have. Let's let's put away the punt returns, the mishaps on that. You're a wide receiver. We got KT and guys like Richie James and stuff for that now. You're gonna be solely focused on this, on your craft as a traditional wide receiver in this system. So we'll see how it goes. But anything else before we let it go?
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Scott, we believe in you.
All right. Well, that's all we have for this week's episode. Well, this episode of Chiefin with Dale. Once again, I'm your host, Dale, and then Lonnie as well. You can follow me on all my social media platforms: Facebook, Dale Fowler Jr., Twitter, Dale E Fowler, Instagram, Daily_Dale 39, and then also make sure to follow Kansas City Sports Company as well too on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Lonnie, what's your handles, bro?
Yep. Twitter _LONNO and on Instagram _LONO. uh, underscore again. So underscore LONO underscore for Instagram. Lano, and like I said, I'm still getting everything set up, y'all. We've been dealing with the families, man. I'm doing a lot. I mean, I'm in the swing of dealing with a lot right now,
He's an
family stuff.
expectant
So
father, man.
exactly.
Couple months.
So I'm
So
still
make
trying to
sure
get
y'all
everything right.
congratulate him on that as well too. Dropping in all the social media platforms, man. Tell him what's up and you appreciate everything he doing on Chiefin with Daily Dale and wishing him best as a father. You know, Father's
Right.
Day coming up as well.
Yes, absolutely. Same to you too. You know, we try and do our best. I'll try and learn from my homeboy over there, man. He's doing good, man. Coaching teams and everything. I just wanna learn. You gotta learn, man. Learn from great fathers. You gotta
Man,
be
I
like
had
them.
to put on the Chiefs hat today, bro. You know, I
Yeah,
had to put on
yeah,
the Chiefs hat today. I mean, not the Chiefs, the KC.
yeah. The
I'm
Royals.
not even. We not even gonna talk about it.
Okay, yeah, we not
Yeah.
because he really don't mess with the Royals. But all right, his
When we
cool is
winning, when we
okay.
winning,
All
when we
right,
winning.
fair weather. All right,
Yep,
but
I'm
he from
kicking.
here though. He from here. No,
Don't
from
matter.
Kansas City though.
It's
All right.
cool. We'll be fine. But yeah, man, that's all we got for this week's episode. We'll be coming back with y'all with another one soon. Talk to y'all next time. Another banger.